other side of that junction block that's at the end of my rear end. That brake line there goes to the driver's rear end. That line there goes to the passenger's rear end. That's the junction block for the brake fluid, where the brake fluid comes in from this line. And this is hard to film. I'm laying on the ground here. So, there it is. Now the only other junction block is down on the end of this, midway down the end of this rail. Right down that rail. But before I show you that location, as I stated, I was trying to get that line and that line loosened up to see if there was any fluid pouring out. Now, I wasn't able to loosen these up. I don't have a flare nut, so I hit it with some PV Blaster I'm letting soak. But this part right here was able to loosen. And it's difficult to spin this and take it all the way off, because this thing ends up kind of contortioning. So I kind of put this on the back burner for the moment, and I figured I'd tackle the other junction block, the only other junction block on this rear end. So what I did was, and I hope that I can show you this, there it is, that junction block. So what I did was, as you can see, there's some vice grips there, and there's a nut on the right side that connects the furthest line, and then there's another nut on that side. And I was able to fortunately loosen these two nuts. And the upside to that is both on the left side and the right side of those vice grips, as I loosen those two nuts on each one of these lines that are connected to this coupler, brake fluid leaked out. So at least this coupler is not blocking the brake fluid. So that leaves me with everything from the right of this coupler. And it's basically all straight line, with the exception there's the line there, with the exception of it connecting here, and there's that twisted braided line that goes down to this junction block. So I'm going to get this braided line, or this flex line here, taken off. I have a feeling that it's the junction block there that's leaking. If not, it's got to be somewhere in here. So I've ruled out down there already, so I'm good to go. But this line can be blocked. It's possible. But there's no other junction blocks except for, it's not even a junction block, a junction. I know I'm using the wrong terminology, but you get what I'm saying. The only other junction is that and that. So I'll find it. I'll work my way back. Line. In fact, everything needs to be replaced on this truck, but I'm trying to get it running as cheap as possible. So
got to be done. So I figured, okay, take this time to learn how to bend my own pipe. So I went ahead and I bought this 3 16 inch pipe, brake line rather. I don't know, this thing was probably about close to 3 feet long. And this cost me about $6 at the local auto parts. Pretty cheap for a replacement if you ask me. But I did have to get 3 tools. One is a flaring kit. Another one is a pipe bender. And another one is a pipe cutter with a ream, or reamer here. So I found out, because I never had to do a brake line before, I found out that basically domestic cars use what's called a double flare. And most foreign cars use what's called a bubble flare. And they're for high pressure systems like brakes. But like if you're using a fuel line or something to that effect, you can just get a single flare. You don't need this kit. It basically includes this and this without these dies. But I did initially buy this, and it was a single flare kit, but I found out that that's not the type of flare that I'm supposed to use on brake lines. So had to go back and get this kit. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to do my first brake line double flare and learn how to bend this. So it's a learning experience, but I'm enjoying it. I'll get you up to date later. Thanks.